Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is the show that is everything Broncos and sports topics related. I'm your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, let's get into it. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing an Avalanche jersey and a Broncos hat as opposed to a Broncos jersey and an Avalanche hat. That's because the Colorado Avalanche have won the 2022 Stanley Cup Championship last Sunday. That's right, guys. The Stanley Cup is back in Colorado, where it should be. The reason why I'm leading off with this, obviously, is I'm doing the I didn't do the Avalanche update per se, because I'm going to get to that at the end. But I just wanted to say why I'm wearing the Avalanche jersey when the season's over, because the Avalanche are Stanley Cup champions for the third time. 1996, 2001, which is what I've got right here, 01, and 2022. I ordered my home jersey with the number 22 and the name Champs on the back. Can't wait to get that one. All right, guys, let's get into the topics that I have for this show. Let's start out with Chris Harris Jr. After 2 seasons with the LA Chargers, it's likely they will not re-sign him. That leaves the door open for the 33-year-old to possibly return to the Broncos. The depth behind Patrick Surtain, Ronald Darby, and Kwan Williams is a bit suspect. Harris would be a great addition with his depth and veteran talent. I totally agree. I absolutely totally agree. Chris Harris Jr. is a great slot defender. He is. And I love the way he plays. He plays with passion. He plays with energy. But more importantly, we have young players on this team, especially Patrick Surtain. Okay? Chris Harris Jr. can give him some advice. Not that Patrick Surtain really needs. I mean, his rookie year was pretty spectacular. But nonetheless, he can give him veteran knowledge. He can give him insight to certain routes that the receivers are running against him. And just having that presence of a veteran player on defense in the secondary means a lot. Especially, just remember, guys, we also have a new coaching staff. A coaching staff led by a head coach in Nathaniel Hackett, who's never been a head coach before. And then you have other coaches. You have defensive coach. You have offensive coordinators. Defense coordinator, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach. They're all new to the Broncos. And then Russell Wilson, obviously, is new to the Denver Broncos. So if you can have some type of veteran knowledge and experience, and remember, Chris Harris Jr. played for the Broncos. He knows these guys on the field. And he knows this team. So he would be an absolute wonderful addition to the Broncos secondary. In my opinion, I would absolutely welcome him back. Sure, he's not going to garnish the kind of money that maybe he would be looking for, years past. But he could come back on a 1-year deal, a 2-year deal. I don't know, maybe 1.5 mil, maybe 2. I'm not sure. More like 1.5. Yes, I would definitely take him back for that. Absolutely. I just don't know if Chris Harris Jr. would be willing to take that type of a discount. I just don't know. And the reason why I don't know is because, everybody has their own preference. Everybody has their own, bar that they want to try and achieve financially. I get that. Everybody's different. That's totally true. I would love to see Chris Harris Jr. back in the orange and blue. Okay, let's move on to some interesting news. Browns, Seahawks. Multiple reports have said the Seahawks and Browns are near an agreement that would send Mayfield to Seattle. The Browns will likely be without Watson, and the only other quarterback on the team right now to take his place is Jacoby Brissett. Wow. They, being the Cleveland Browns front office, must really, really, really not want Baker Mayfield on the team. Why else would they go for Jacoby Brissett? Why else did they trade for Deshaun Watson? Well, I'm going to get into that story a little bit. Why would they do that if they had faith and trust in Baker Mayfield? They don't. Mayfield has said multiple times he wants out. What's that say about Drew Lock in Seattle? Yep. It's interesting that when Seattle got Drew Lock, oh man, he's the best quarterback. He's the best quarterback there is outside. Let me rephrase that. The statement was made that Drew Lock is better than any of the quarterbacks that came out in the 2022 draft. Okay. And the only reason why that's true is because Drew Lock has played in the NFL already. He's had NFL experience, albeit not that great, but he's had NFL experience. These quarterbacks that were drafted, they haven't even stepped foot on an NFL field in a real game or even a preseason game. So, sure, that statement reigns true for the 2022 draft class of the quarterbacks, but it doesn't say much if Seattle is willing and wanting to trade for Baker Mayfield. Would they give up Drew Lock to go to Cleveland? That would probably be, if you're going to bring in Baker Mayfield, you're going to want to have a, quote, NFL experienced quarterback as your backup. I get that. So they probably wouldn't let go of Lock, and I really don't think the Cleveland Browns would want to get a Drew Lock. But it looks like Baker Mayfield's days in Cleveland are well numbered. That's for sure. All right. Speaking of Deshaun Watson a little bit ago, here we go. This was a leak that had the NFL handing out a 1-year suspension to Deshaun Watson. The reason for the leak is believed the NFL wanted the public to know what it had pushed for. Mostly it's because the arbitrator could reduce the suspension. The reason why the arbitrator could reduce the suspension is based on previous history. Since Deshaun Watson apparently hasn't had any previous history of these allegations, the arbitrator could say, okay, you know what? Yes, we caught him. These women came forth. 20 of them were settled out of court. The other 4 want to push the court system to decide. And the arbitrator could say, okay, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and wait until the civil suits are done. If that happens prior to the season, I doubt it seriously. So the arbitrator could say, okay, you know what? Let's reduce it to half a season, or let's reduce it to whatever the arbitrator wants to do. I don't really know that. So whatever the arbitrator decides, it would be less than what the NFL wanted. The NFL wanted a full 1-year suspension, period. That's why in these people's opinion, as well as myself, that's why the leak came out, because the NFL wants the public to know what it's going after. And if none of this is done until after the civil suits are done with in court, it could be, people would look at it and go, oh, the NFL didn't push hard enough. NFL only gave them, 8 games off, or 8 games suspended, 7 games suspended, whatever. This way, the public knows that the NFL pushed and has pushed and is going to push for a 1-year suspension. I totally agree. And it wouldn't surprise me if the NFL really wanted to suspend him indefinitely and then reduced it to, say, 2 seasons. And then, arbitrator's really going to throw those out, so let's just go for 1. That's how I see it. Either way, Deshaun Watson still has a rough road ahead of him. And the NFL is doing the right thing. They really are. You need to take action, and strong action, when there is issues like this. Absolutely need to take strong action. And I do hope that the arbitrator does not reduce the 1-year suspension. I really hope. that person doesn't do it. Okay, let's go to the Houston Texans. Now, a lawsuit has been filed against the Houston Texans for providing a suite at the Historian Hotel. Watson was provided a non-disclosure agreement by team security to be used in massage sessions. This has put the Texans as enablers for Watson to have encounters with these women. What? Holy smokes. Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. Let me go back. Let me break this down, because this is serious, guys. This is serious stuff. This is involving a franchise, one of only 32 in the NFL. And they provided a suite. Let me say this last part again. Watson was provided a non-disclosure agreement by team security to be used in massage sessions. Team security? Undisclosed agreement? What is that supposed to mean? I don't know. But if it's undisclosed, it could mean anything. It could mean absolutely anything. And handed to him by a team security? Wow, this is getting way, way deeper than I ever thought it would, to tell you the truth. But the Houston Texans provided a suite at the Historian Hotel. Wow. Absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, it's bad enough that a player does something, or an owner does something. I'll get into that a little bit later too. That an owner does something. But an organization? You know this had to come from the top somewhere. Why else would you have team security involved? Okay, maybe there's security around the hotel because Watson's in there and they don't want outside. Well, obviously he had outsiders. But what I'm saying is that they wouldn't have fans crowding around or whatever. I don't know. But it says it was delivered by team security. So that means that somewhere at the top of the pecking order of the Houston Texans, they knew something was going on. They absolutely knew something was going on. Now, every team has medical staff. Every team can, and most of them do provide licensed massage therapists. And if that's the case, and Deshaun Watson didn't have anything to hide, why wouldn't you use the team's provided massage therapist? Why wouldn't you? I mean, I would. If I needed it, well, I wouldn't go outside or whatever, because I don't have that type of mindset, that type of desire. Obviously, Deshaun Watson did. And to have the team involved to the point of providing a hotel suite along with an undisclosed agreement handed by team security, that is one big, huge red flag. And the NFL has got it up to here with all of this stuff that's going on with Deshaun Watson and with the Daniel Snyder and now the Houston Texans. Wow. Whew. I bet the NFL Commissioner's Office, I bet they can't wait to get this season started and get all this mess way out of the way and behind them. What an absolute mess. All right, let's go to, hold on a second, guys, get my notes together. Speaking of a big mess, let's go to, you got it, guys. Okay, Daniel Snyder. Now, a week ago, the U.S. Congress issued a subpoena to Daniel Snyder to testify in relations to the workplace misconduct and sexual harassment. Snyder's attorney declined to accept the subpoena. The committee issued this statement And I quote, "His refusal to testify sends an unmistakable signal that Mr. Schneider has something to hide and is afraid to come clean to the American public. The committee will uncover the truth at the Washington Commanders." End quote. Yep, that's exactly how I feel, guys. Exactly how I feel. If you are not going to testify, that's obviously Daniel Snyder has refused to testify. Well, that tells me he's got something to hide. I know I've had some people tell me, well, that doesn't mean admission to guilt. Doesn't mean he did anything wrong. Just means he didn't want to testify. Doesn't want it out in the public eye. BS. Come on, man. No. If somebody came up to me and said, hey, you got to testify in behalf of whatever, and I'm not involved, I didn't do anything, whatever, or I'm a witness or whatever it is, then sure, I have no problem. Absolutely no problem. But if you're not willing to testify and you're subpoenaed and you decline, that could be contempt of court. That could be perjury. Mr. Schneider, wake up, dude. Just own up to it, okay? I know you're probably going to lose ownership of the Washington Commanders. Well, whose fault is that? Nobody's fault but your own. Nobody's fault but your own. If you're innocent and you haven't done anything and you have nothing to hide, yeah, right. Come clean. Do the testimony. Do what they're asking. Because I'm telling you right now, they're going to uncover this. Absolutely, they're going to uncover it. And when they do, they're not just going to stop at what they see at the surface. No, they're going to dig deep because you have refused to testify. And therefore, they, in their mind, and in a lot of people's mind, including myself, you have a very, very lot of things to hide. Very, very much. And when it does come out, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be good at all. It's going to be very ugly. So why not just get it over with? Well, might be almost too late now. Anyways, now you know why. You're my back-to-back, first time back-to-back Jackass of the week. Yeah, rightfully so. Okay, let's go to Aqib Talib. Now, Aqib Talib is joining an already loaded Amazon Prime Video broadcast for Thursday night football coverage. Talib will join Richard Sherman, Tony Gonzalez, and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Talib will be part of the pregame, halftime, and postgame show. That's awesome. I am happy for Aqib Talib. I really am. I'll tell you what, man, that Amazon is putting some names out there to be on the pregame, halftime, and postgame, as well as a broadcast. But that's good because that's what you do. You want to draw fans. Now, I wasn't really in favor of watching Richard Sherman or Tony Gonzalez or Ryan Fitzpatrick. Not at all. But now that Aqib Talib's on there, yeah, I'm going to tune into the pregame. I'm probably going to tune into postgame. I'm not going to tune into halftime, no, because I'll be watching the actual game itself, and I don't usually, click away from that when it's on. But I will check out the pregame and the postgame. I want to see what Aqib Talib has to say. He has great insight in the NFL. Obviously, he's a former Denver Bronco, so that helps me wanting to look into it. But I'm happy for Aqib Talib. I wish him all the best. I hope he has some great success and does really, really well in the inaugural Thursday night football on Amazon Prime. Okay, let's go to Russell Wilson. When former Broncos quarterback Marlin Briscoe passed away last Monday at the age of 76, Wilson had this to say, and I quote, "Thanks to the magician for breaking down doors for me and many others," end quote. Marlon Briscoe was the first black quarterback to start a modern professional football game. Briscoe made history by starting 5 games in 1968 for the Denver Broncos. The Broncos issued these words, and I quote, "Our deepest sympathies go out to the Briscoe family, friends, and former teammates," end quote. Absolutely. Absolutely. Marlon Briscoe was basically the NFL's version of Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson obviously was broke the color barrier in baseball. And Marlon Briscoe basically did the same thing for the NFL. Yes, he only played in 5 games. Sorry, guys. Yes, he only played in 5 games for the Broncos, and then he went on to, I believe it was a Miami Dolphins, I'm not mistaken, and was wide receiver. Now, obviously, he knew that might not work out as quarterback, but he still played in the NFL as a wide receiver. But he broke the color barrier, so to speak, in the NFL because he did start and play 5 games for the Denver Broncos in 1968. Yes, he paved the way for players like Russell Wilson. He paved the way for other black quarterbacks throughout the league. Yes, he did that. Absolutely. And that's why I thought it was very commendable what Russell Wilson said, that thanks to the magician for breaking down the doors for myself and for others. Great. Marlon Briscoe, you're going to be missed. Absolutely going to be missed. May you rest in peace. Okay, let's go to Peyton Manning. Now, Peyton Manning on Russell Wilson. Manning has maintained a strong interest in the Denver Broncos since his retirement in 2016. Manning said, and I quote, "Wilson has the potential to bring the Broncos back to where he left them in 2015, end quote. Manning went on to say, and I quote again, "Broncos fans and players are hungry. We've been in a little bit of a drought the past few years, and it's time to get the Broncos back to where they're supposed to be," end quote. Absolutely. And that's what I love about Peyton Manning. You know, a lot of quarterbacks, former players, whatever, when they're traded from one team where they spent most of their career and they go to another team, they usually reside and stay and live and all that back in the city or the area or the state from which they came. That would be the Indianapolis Colts for Peyton Manning. But no, his heart and soul is still in Denver and the Broncos. And he only played 4 seasons. He has a home in Colorado. He has family. Obviously family that, they're all living in Colorado. That speaks tremendous volume because he's a mentor to Russell Wilson. Not that Russell Wilson really needs a mentor. I mean, my goodness. I mean, he's been in the NFL for all those years, but still. Peyton Manning has this much admiration for Russell Wilson. And I think it's phenomenal. I absolutely think it's phenomenal. And I agree with Peyton Manning. Russell Wilson can bring the Broncos back to where they need to be. Absolutely. But for Peyton Manning to say that, he's maintained a strong interest in the Denver Broncos, of course he has. He's basically the ambassador for the Broncos, to tell you the truth. Absolutely. And he is dead on. Russell Wilson can bring the Broncos back to where they were in 2012, 13, 14, and 15. Absolutely. And take that type of team, that type of teams that we had back then with the team we have now. Oh yeah. Yep. You dead right, Peyton Manning. We got Russell Wilson, who is absolutely everything you say he is. I believe he has the potential to take the Broncos to the Super Bowl and win several. Absolutely. Okay, let's go to the last segment. It's part A and part B. Last segment, and that's it. That's right, guys. You got it. Avalanche. Yes, this is a Colorado Avalanche update. Oh, excuse me. I'd be remiss if I didn't say it this way correctly. This is the 2022 Stanley Cup Champion Colorado Avalanche update. Got it. Here we go. After losing Game 5 at home, Colorado had to travel to Tampa Bay for Game 6. Leading in the series 3-2, they didn't want to have a Game 7. They took care of business and won Game 6 2-1 and the Stanley Cup 4-2. This was the first championship in 21 years for the Colorado Avalanche. Joe Sakic joins John Elway as two-time champions as a player and also a champion as general manager. Also, Cale Makar won the Norris Trophy for Best Defensive Player in the season, Conn Smythe Trophy for Most Valuable Player in the series, and Most Valuable Player in the series, and of course, Stanley Cup Champion. The parade was held yesterday, Thursday, in downtown Denver. There were well over 100,000 people there. Easy. 200, 300. I don't know. I couldn't. I mean, it was all the way from the Capitol building. Well, Denver's, I don't know if they call it Capitol building, but the Denver whatever building. Anyways, and I mean, it was wall to wall people. I mean, you couldn't see anything but people. It was absolutely phenomenal. And if you didn't get a chance to see the parade yesterday, go onto YouTube, check it out. It was absolutely amazing, and just great to have a championship parade back in Colorado. It's been 6 years because the Broncos were the last one to do it in 2016. So it's been 6 years that Colorado Avalanche came through. Absolutely love it. Love it. Oh man, I wish I was there. Absolutely wish I was there. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm here in front of you guys, but it's okay. I don't mind that a bit. All right, let's go to that was part A. Let's go to part B. This is great. But if I followed up by a question, but this is great. Coors beer. Coors is brewing a beer, Coors brewed a beer titled Coors Light Champions Ice. They promised to have it taste like victory. That's because Coors Light Champions Ice is literally brewed with shavings from the Ball Arena rink. Fans will be able to try it on draft starting June 30th, which was yesterday. Of course, the parade. It was released in time for the parade of the 2022 Stanley Cup Champions. Unfortunately, the Champions Ice is only available in the Denver area. Bummer. Man, that would be great. That would be phenomenal. But that's pretty cool, man. Now, they didn't scrape down the entire rink and take all the ice that would make to make that much beer called Champions Ice. There's no way. They took shavings and they mixed it with each bottle or not bottle. I don't know if it's in bottles or not. I know it's in draft for sure all around the Denver metro area. One of them being I know for a fact it's the Lodo, the brewery in Lodo. It's also the Blake Street Tavern and other places around downtown. But it's in draft that is what I saw, what I read. So basically for every keg that they made, they put in shavings of Ball Arena Avalanche Ice. So every time a person would, take a draft beer, there's a chance that they would have some, not particles because it's all melted, but they would have some taste of being a champion. And I thought that's pretty cool, man. I'm just bummed that I can't get a can of it or I can't get a bottle of it. I would love to try it. Here's my question to you guys. If you could, would you drink it yourself? Would you go in there and order a 16-ounce glass of Coors Light Champions Ice? I'm just curious how many people out there would do that. I know I would. I'd do my doggone best to be first in line just to try it out. unfortunately, unless somehow, some way, there's a can out there floating around in Denver, and I got friends in Denver area, so hopefully they can send me one as a care package. I would really, really like that. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, please subscribe. Click the like button down below. Tell your friends about the show. I really would appreciate it. Before I step out of here, just want to give you a rundown of the other shows that are on the MHRT Network. On Tuesday, it's the 5280 podcast. That's with Badungus Creevy, Glenn Hauser, Boggins, Bree, and Cam. That goes live every Tuesday, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then on Wednesday, you have the Wild Wild West, and that features a fan from every AFC West team: Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. That goes live every Wednesday, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30. And then on Thursday, you have Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast, and that's hosted by Johnny Baki and his really good friend Isaiah Henderson. That goes live every Thursday, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then on Friday, my show, Broncos Breakdown, hosted by me, Bronco Bill, gets posted and dropped on Friday, 11, 12, 1, and 2, every Friday. So, guys, find a show that you like, find personalities that you like, and subscribe to the MHRT Network. We would really greatly appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, a wonderful and safe, happy 4th of July. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.